Well, guys, I'm sure you will remember the woke joke known as football, which for the past 2 years has been bending the knee to Marxist BLM tripe. This despite always claiming to be apolitical, to the point the FA banned the poppy, did they not? Yes, wearing a poppy is a big no-no, but BLM race grifting is openly supported despite reports suggesting funds raised by BLM have been spent in questionable ways.
I call freeze! I call freeze!
What do you want? When do you want it?
Now, thankfully, many teams have actually stopped bending the knee in 2022, but that cannot be said for the England national setup, can it? The cuck manager and his useless bottle job team put more effort into virtue signalling these days than they do actually winning football matches, because they lost to Hungary last night, but the result is not important to us in the slightest. Instead, we'll focus on the crowd booing these virtue signalling fuckpigs, despite the fact most Hungarian fans had actually been banned from attending. It seems only kids under the age of 14 years old were actually allowed in the stadium, but these Hungarian kids must be pretty based, because the boos rung out loud and clear the moment England cucked themselves. Yep, as you heard and can see by this Daily Mail article, a bunch of kids booed our overpaid virtue signalling national team before their team beat us at football to rub the salt in the wounds a little bit more. On top of that, I would also say this makes England fans look like cucks, because we no longer hear these boos ring out against it like we did 2 years ago from our fans. Now they clap like demented seals, much like they did for the NHS 2 years ago, and look how that's turned out, with record waiting lists and shit like that we're dealing with now. But you know what is both the funniest and most embarrassing thing about all this in my mind is not the players taking the knee, it's the manager Gareth Southgate and what he said. Yep, this complete wet wipe heard the boos and decided this means he needs to educate people on it and not stop bloody doing it.
Very surprised. But I think that that's why we do it. You know, we do it to try to educate. I think why young people can only be influenced by older people. So, in actual fact, the atmosphere when we arrived at the stadium, there were kids lining the streets. It was really friendly. They were waving when we were walking out to warm up, but I thought there were sort of pantomime boos when our team came out to warm up. That was different with the taking of the knee, but that felt like inherited thinking to me. And what I would say is I hear that still in our stadiums as well. So that's why we do it. That's why we continue to take that stand. And we will keep doing that as a team.
So there you hear him state that Hungarian kids greeted the England team with cheers when they arrived and only started booing them when they took the knee, meaning they do not agree with your politics or want it rammed down their throats. This obviously does not mean you need to educate anyone on it, because it simply means you should stop bloody doing it, and now. Of course, being the woke joke he is, this tit decided to blame their parents for their kids booing Marxist tripe, rather than blaming himself for taking their political virtue signalling over there. So well done to the kids of Hungary. You, it seems, are more based than fully grown adults in the UK, which is really quite embarrassing, I've gotta say. And in fact, when looking into this story, I didn't see any football-related YouTube channels calling out the England team for this nonsense, despite the fact I'm sure many think it's bollocks. Maybe someone should start a real football-related YouTube channel that cuts the shit and gives it to people straight. I mean, if I was going to watch football content, that is what I would be looking for, not some sap worried about offending the poor snowflakes fifis. I say fuck 'em, but you know what, that's enough on this one for me. I think I've ranted enough. I will love you and leave you there, so as always, thanks for watching, guys. Remember to let me know what you think down in the comment section below, subscribe if you ain't already, and I hope to see you all in the next one.
Where